Hey everybody, welcome back to Budget Bladesman, and we've come to the end of the 2-week Amazon $50 challenge, and you'll notice right off the bat we're short something. So sometime in the last couple days I lost the flashlight. So I have something to kind of fill in, and if you guys watched the previous video, I said I had a Coast flashlight that was similar. This is the G10, so we'll bring that in here right here. So obviously this is half the size of it, but it's a similar form and function, just, shorter, and it doesn't have a pocket clip. So this will just kind of fill in as far as uh, the style and the way the light is. See, it's more of a focused beam, and it's the same style of beam as the other one. So this is just going to be kind of a fill-in. So we'll go over everything and kind of give you my thoughts and talk about how we like things. All right. So you can see here, this is the setup that I chose. So this is the Zebra F301, Zebra 301F. So it's just a compact pen. For the most part, it did the job fine. It worked. No complaints really. I will say it's more of a fine point writing, and I do tend to like medium. But again, when you're working with a budget, you're kind of making some sacrifices. So it's hard to find something that's in medium. But other than that, I mean, it worked pretty well. The one thing I noticed after I got it is if this is something you want to carry on your keychain, you could. You see it has a small lanyard or keychain hole right there. So this actually wouldn't be a bad keychain pen if you wanted to do that. It is a little long for that, but other than that, it fit in the pocket just well. The wallet is just the Travel Lambo. I think they just call it front pocket wallet. You can see right there, Travel Lambo. This is surprisingly, even though it's kind of fake carbon fiber there, it worked really well, surprisingly. So obviously I had my ID on this side. I had a couple debit cards and a credit card on this side, and then I had, various insurance cards and whatnot on in the inside there. If I can get it to focus. There we go. Oh, a little difficult, but there we go. And this side, in this pocket right here. And then it also has a secondary pocket right there. Ooh, still got something in there. But for cash. And even with cash, and I don't really carry a lot of cash, but even with cash, the cards, the ID card, and the various other cards, it actually didn't get very thick, which was actually pretty nice. I was really pleasantly surprised by this wallet. For being a $7 wallet, actually ended up working out pretty well. I did like this wallet, so this was definitely a surprise. Next, we'll go to the knife. This was, you know what, I'm going to be honest, I completely forgot the Bowser. Sorry, there you go, the Kershaw Bowser. So it's very solidly built. It's more of a heavy-duty knife. It feels really heavy, and again, this is a little bit bigger than something I would normally carry. It comes at 3.5 inches total cutting length. If you guys want to see a full review on this video, on this knife, let me know, and I'll see if I can get a full review. For the most part, like I said, it was pretty good of a knife for the price you pay. I will say there was one thing that did start to happen there. So focus is that it started to do a little, it loosened up, and you can see it kind of wiggling right there on the pivot. That actually happened after 5 days. And if you don't have tools, then that's going to be more of a problem for you. Luckily, I do have I think it was a T8 bit for this to tighten up the pivot. But again, it also loosened up again. This is the second week, obviously. And you can see it loosened itself up again. So that is the one drawback, is that other than that, it's been pretty good. It's stayed really sharp. You can definitely see there's some use on it there. It was overall a pretty good knife. Like I said, the only thing that obviously I didn't like, and if you don't have the tools for this, and if you're on a budget and this is one of your first setups, you're probably not going to have the tools for it, is that it kind of lost that, tightness in the pivot, which is not great. I'll come to this last, because this was some surprising stuff there on that one. So again, this is like the fill-in for the other flashlight. There we go. Sorry, having a little bit of trouble focusing here. But this is the G10, and I believe the one I had was the G20. Again, it's the same sort of style. Obviously, the one I had was twice the length, and it did have a pocket clip, whereas this one doesn't have a pocket clip. Again, but it's the same type of throw there. So it's a real fine beam, which worked all right. Obviously, I like a flashlight that has a little more spill on it, you know, a little bit more spread out than just more of a focus beam like this. And obviously, with a flash like this, you're not getting all the options. You know, it's just one setting. My typical flashlight has two. It has like a low mode and then it has a high mode, which I do appreciate. But I mean, again, you're going with a budget one, so this is kind of what you're looking at. I would say that if you're looking for something smaller, the Olight, the small one, I think it's the i3T. I forget there's a AAA flashlight, a small keychain one for $10. If you can go a little bit over your budget, see, I had to pay tax, so it was basically $5 in tax for mine. So it was actually about 45, but with the taxes and everything, mine came out to 49.36, I believe it was. So if you have that little tiny bit of extra, you can go for something that Olight, like I said. Also, I didn't want to get an Olight because it was something I've already had, and I wanted to try something different, even though I did have this Coast, but I didn't have the one that I got in the initial video. Sorry, guys, I don't know what's going on with the focus there. There we go. So again, this was the Coast. It was, like I said, this is not the actual light I used. This is just kind of a fill-in just to kind of show you guys what I got. I did like that flashlight, and I lost it, but I think I know where I lost it at. So I'll put a update in the notes if I do find it and let you guys know. So overall, I mean, for I think it was $9.10. If you're willing to deal with the longer form factor, it'll be a good flashlight. Like I said, it is pretty long. The other one, I think it's, you know, it comes out to like right here. So it's quite a bit longer. I didn't really notice it too much in the pocket. I mean, obviously I didn't notice it because I lost it. So it tells you that it's not real heavy duty or anything. So the last thing I have on the table here is the thing I was actually the most excited for, was the Mullet pry bar / key holder. Now, I really thought, because typically I use a lanyard and I tuck the keys into my back pocket. I, you know, put it on the loop, one of my belt loops, and then tuck it in the back pocket. The only problem is that eventually you're going to wear out the belt loop on your pants. So I thought maybe this would work, you know, at least well, because you could stick it on your, you know, your belt or pocket. So the first thing I did was try to put it on the belt. And for me, I just have a standard leather belt. And for me, it was really difficult, as you can kind of see, to get. I'm not even going to try and get on, but it was almost impossible for me to get on. There was no way this was going to be something that, if I tried to, it was going to be on and off real quick. So I couldn't do it that way. So it was my initial intention was to do it that way. So the other way was I decided to try it in my front pocket. And like I've said in videos past, I wear a lot of khakis, and khakis, you know, they have slash pockets, so that doesn't really fit if I'm carrying, you know, the pocket knife on one side and the flashlight on the other side. So that didn't really work. And even if I did happen to have khakis that had the 5 pocket style pants, what I found is that this was just too heavy with my keys on there, and would kind of pull down the pocket and kind of fold over. And then what would happen is this little part right here would get stuck on the material, and you'd have to pull the pants over and then off. So kind of this little groove right there. I know this is supposed to be a hex key, but I ended up finding that this would catch. I'd have to pull my pants over and then pull this out. I ended up carrying this in the back pocket, and that, for whatever reason, seemed to work a little bit better. I don't know why, but, you know, I'd carry it in the back pocket like this, and for some reason it didn't snag. I guess maybe because of the angle of this holder, and then it came out. But then again, you're sitting on something like this. So it did have its drawbacks. I find that I didn't carry this nearly as much on my one job, just because I'd set my keys down and I didn't really want to have that in my pocket. My other job, I actually carried this all the time, but I found myself not really using it that much because just the in and out was not great. So that's kind of the overview of everything here, more or less. Like I said, this was, for the most part, everything was pretty solid. You know, I don't think I had really any issues with anything other than, like I said, the kind of just the way things set up with this and the pivot loosening on that. I know that's kind of a bummer, but I mean, other than that, I mean, I have the tools, so it wasn't that big of a deal. And this is a pretty solid heavy duty knife, except for that. And I will say I'm not a big fan of the tip down carry, but that's personal preference. I mean, you guys may be fine with that. But again, like if this is going to be your first setup, that could be an issue, obviously, because you're not going to have the tools to fix that. And obviously, I'm going to pull this out at some point, put some Loctite on it, and then we'll be fine. But if this is your first setup, or if this was, something like that, then that would be an issue because you wouldn't have those tools to fix that. But everything is solidly made. I didn't notice any, there's no uneven grinds on this or anything like that. I didn't notice any threads or anything loose coming on this. This Coast flashlight is pretty heavy duty made, even the one I have. Like I said, if you watch the video, this is actually a backup flashlight. I have my EDC back, so it tells you that I do trust their product. And it's aluminum, and it's really heavy duty made, so it's really solid. The pen is like, it's just a pen. It's fine. Like I do like a medium point, but that's just me. Again, this is not, it's well made. So all in all, no issues with this stuff. And like I said, for 50 bucks, I think this is a pretty solid carry, and I don't think you would be too disappointed with it. Again, if you get one that's just better quality controlled, then you're probably going to like this knife. There was a Bear Ops knife that I was thinking about going with, and I have done a review on a Bear Ops knife, but I figured that Kershaw would probably be a little bit more known to most people, so I figured that would be a better idea. So this is kind of the $50 setup. I'm thinking I'm going to do a $75 Amazon setup to see, just again, see what we can get more for the money there. If you guys enjoy that video, I may go up to 100 bucks, and then at the end we'll kind of pick and choose which gear is the best for kind of each category. If that's something you guys are interested in, just leave it in the comments and let me know. And again, thank you for coming by and checking out the end of the 2-week $50 Amazon budget challenge. Thanks, guys. Catch you next time.